Hey YouTube, this is Southern Purple One. A lot of things going on in this world. I hope you're preparing. I hope you're getting ready for uncertainties, because uncertainties is the name of the game. We have no idea what's going to happen. No one does. But as preppers, we're trying to hedge our bets and cover all the angles that could happen to us to make our life safer and to keep our family for a certain comfort level. Yeah. It might get so bad where the comfort level is going to be really decreased, but we can get through it. And by prepping, it gives you a little safety net. I guess the big story of the day was India accidentally fired a missile into Pakistan. More reason for us to be ready all the time as preppers, not just because of Ukraine, Russia, or the inflation or other issues in the world, but anything can happen at any time in this world. What happened was India was doing maintenance on one of their missiles, and these are large missiles, and it accidentally launched. It actually had to travel 60 miles before it crossed the border between India and Pakistan, and then it continued into Pakistan for 72 miles, and it crashed. Luckily, it had no warhead on it, and luckily it didn't crash and hurt anyone. I believe no one got hurt, so that was a blessing. But any situation in this world can go out of control in seconds, even by an accident. Also, the war, Ukraine and Russia war, just continuing to get worse, continuing to have more suffering on both sides. Just praying for peace. Biden and his administration keep saying that we have to pay for the war because gas is going up, and it's because of Russia invaded Ukraine. Please don't buy that, and 99% of you won't buy that. Yes, the war did affect fuel prices in some degree, but if the United States would become a producer and supply 100% of our domestic supply, we'd still have plenty to trade, plenty to sell. So really, it's our government's fault that we're relying on foreign oil. We should be an oil exporter. So the inflation on fuel, on groceries, on everything we buy is going up. You can see it, and don't believe their little percentage of 7 or 8%. It's a lot higher than that. They changed the rules to make the formula different, and they can lessen the effects of inflation. So if we went back to the old rules of inflation, we'd be double digits for sure. The government's creating this inflation by their printing of money. They have just totally went, I think, from like 4 trillion in January of 2020, and I think it's like 20 trillion now. Of October 2021. The money supply has exploded. Now, this is not all actual printing of money. Some of this is sort of electronic money that the Fed uses to buy bonds from banks, and then they take that money and do electronic transfer of money into the banks. So it's confusing. I'm not even going to try to explain it all the way because I honestly don't understand it. But all of it is not actual printed money. Some of it is electronic money that is given to the banks, and the banks give up bundles of mortgages. But the bottom line is they're diluting the value of our dollar. And this is the government's fault, and this is going to create inflation. The U.S. debt, as you know, is way over $30 trillion, and it's actually 30 trillion, 130 billion. And with more spending bills that they just passed, the debt is just exploding. So that alone is serious problems for us as a country, and serious problems for mom and dad and the family, because everything is costing more, and it's a direct result of not having a sound money supply, in the sense backed by something. It's backed by nothing, and the printing presses can run, and every time you print another dollar or you have another government program that spends more money than we take in, it makes the dollars in your wallet worth less, and that's inflation. I hope you're keeping track of the threats Russia is making to the world, and I don't blame them. They're at war with the world. The United States and the West economically are tearing them apart by all of the economic sanctions, all of the moves to isolate them economically, and they're feeling like it's a direct attack on them, because an economic war is no different than a fighting war with bullets. You still wreak havoc on the other country. So we need to be very careful, because they're soon not going to have anything to lose. We're hearing a lot of things about cyber attack, worried about them taking down our power grid. These things are all very viable, so I hope you're preparing for that. Taking down the internet and the power grid would be total destruction for our way of life. If we can't get that up quickly, you're looking at severe problems. You're looking at an SHTF event if they can't get it up and running, because commerce revolves around the internet. Supply, shipping them all over the world is through the internet, through computer controls. So hopefully you are prepared. EMP is a real thing. My fear is that they would do an EMP and then blame it on North Korea. North Korea is developing ballistic missiles. So prepare for an EMP. What do you got to do? You got to protect your electronics, and that's called Faraday, using a Faraday cage. But bottom line, take your electronics, put it in galvanized trash cans. Don't let any of your objects touch the galvanized trash can. Put the lid on it. That's a simple way of doing it. Or you can put it inside one metal container, inside a galvanized trash can. No one knows for sure what's the ultimate way to protect our radios, our computers, so solar generator boxes. But putting it inside a metal container, having it sealed, is a great start. You need to do something with your electronics. An EMP would cripple our country. I would prefer an EMP over a full-scale nuclear war. The destruction will be both on bad on both. But at least with an EMP, we would go back to the 1860s. A nuclear war will go back to the 1860s, but large sections of our country totally destroyed and worthless for many years. So I pray for an EMP. Yeah, it's bad when you pray for an EMP, but I pray for that over a full nuclear exchange. Hope you're prepping. Hope you're praying. Thanks for watching.